Boyd, thank you, team. I think it's time to come to Jeff and have a look at some more technical charts.
Okie doke, let's do that. And I'm going to start with Euro Yen, I think. And again, I share everybody's view on the dollar, but I've got to stay out of it. Still got to stay out of it, apart from one, and I'll share that with you in a minute. And it is pound US dollar. But first up, let's talk about Euro Yen. And I'm very interested and I was very interested because I had no idea that anybody in Japan resigned, much less somebody important. I still don't know who they are or what they do, but apparently that's interesting. I'll catch up with that overnight and put that into my equation, I suppose, a little bit. But from a technical perspective, Euro Yen is giving me a little rabbit's ear up there, or a double top, you could call it, in the other vernacular. So I'm expecting, and the red line that you see is tomorrow's weekly pivot. I'm expecting that we might get a little bit of a retest of that. I suppose, yes, it's a retest. It's not there yet, of course, but it technically that horizontal level has been broken. So I'd be expecting a retest of that. Probably, I don't know when, because tomorrow is kind of a non-event. We've got a bank holiday in Great Britain, and there's a whole lot of other stuff that won't be going on as well. So I, like everybody else, is probably going to be waiting for, I'm not sure what's happening on Tuesday, Paul, but I'll be probably taking a closer look on Tuesday. Tomorrow, I'd really like to see this weekly pivot tested. And then maybe
Gosh,
Tuesday.
mate, I was determined to keep me muted. Sorry, mate. In answer to your question, mate, it is bank holiday in UK on Monday. What is it?
Yeah, I don't know. I can't remember. I know it's a bank holiday, but
summer bank holiday. It seems to be called the summer bank holiday. I mean, in New Zealand, we don't have holidays and call them holidays. We call them all kinds of other things. But not much else for the rest of the week, mate. Looks like everything else is open. Tuesday, we have a bit of news out in Australia.
We've got RBA,
cash rate. Yeah, RBA. But there's no other holidays this week as well. So I guess we're expecting a quiet UK morning on Monday. The UK morning session, if the pound, if the UK market's closed. There's still some business in Europe, but it won't have the same volume as we were expecting. Interesting following Jackson Hole. Volume wouldn't be a bad thing in the market as this market clears out on Monday. And without the volume, might be bumpy. Might be really bumpy.
Fully expecting that. And as I say, Monday probably won't be an event that I'll be looking to trade, but come Tuesday morning, I'll certainly be back on deck. And if the Aussie looks tradable in any way, shape or form after the news announcement, then I'll be looking to trade that. But again, I'm steering clear of the dollar because I think it's very, very tough at the moment. I see the parabolic move to the downside. It will not suck back in any way, shape or form, but sometime, somehow, to me, that's going to happen. And I don't want to be caught on the wrong side of that. So I'm still on the miners, and Euro Yen's interesting. I had no idea that, as I said, anybody in Japan had resigned. So I'm going with the technicals only, as I do, and I see a double top sitting here at a level that inspires me to think, because it's been support through here, resistance here. That'll do me. I don't need to go any further back than 2008, which kind of gets us into global financial territory. So I see this as a potential retracement area, if nothing else. So I'll be looking to trade that come. Look, I won't dismiss it tomorrow. I'll certainly have a look at it because we do have a double top. And if we do get that weekly pivot test, then a nice little candle pattern or a slingshot pattern would get me interested in trading that short. So I'm not sure where the monthly pivot will be tomorrow. It's probably more likely up here somewhere. That might be a nice even target as well for us. So even, and I'm sure that Ash will be interested in this as well, because he'll see a head and shoulders, no doubt, potential. And there might be a little neckline through there that we can use as an entry or a target as well. So Euro Yen is a short for me, basically from tomorrow. We'll put it that way. Next one I want to have a look at is probably going to conflict with that in some way, but not on a bigger time frame. Euro Swissy, I'm looking to trade long as of tomorrow slash Tuesday. And the reason for that is pretty much what you see in front of you, which is a range bottom that has got a beautiful confluence in the monthly pivot. And as you can see, since the month began, we have simply been unable to get anywhere near through this with the close on a 4-hour chart. Certainly, if you go to the bigger picture on the daily chart, it's exactly the same. Every time we have a little crack at the monthly pivot, it just keeps bouncing off it. Again, the red line is tomorrow's weekly pivot. And this is exactly the same scenario upside down that I just described on Euro Yen. This is a short-term one because the bigger picture is giving me an incredible opposite direction. Sorry, weekly pivot. If you have a look at that chart, it looks a whole lot more like the Euro Yen chart that I just showed you, with a massive double top sitting here. Tweezer top, if you like. Okay, it's not at the top of the chart, but it is at the top of a rally, and it's certainly at the top of this box range that I've just shown you. So I wouldn't think I'd be looking to trade through that level, which is probably about 108.50-ish, something like that. But I'd certainly be looking to trade to the 108.30, 40 area, which of course is the top of that range. Again, the weekly pivot comes into play, as I said, and a pullback here tomorrow would be nice. Give us a higher low, and we can look to trade that, as I say, up to around about the 108.25, 30 mark, something like that. But then I turn into a bear pretty quickly once that happens. The monthly pivot, I shouldn't think will move too far tomorrow. Maybe above the weekly pivot. Be interesting. We'll see how that goes. But it wouldn't be too far away, I wouldn't think. So could be interesting as a long, and I'll certainly look to trade it long, but it'll be ultimately to get short because of that bigger picture that I see here with that tweezer top, if you like. Don't mind tweezer tops if they appear in the right position, and this looks to be the right position to me. The third one I'm going to have a look at is Euro Pound. Now, we're already in Euro Pound and have been for, it seems like, since I went to high school, but it's obviously not quite that long. But finally, it has broken this support level that we've been following for ages. There's like 3 market structures here that have broken down, in my humble opinion. One is the bounce off the top of this range, and the lower high that we've been wanting and trying to trade for, as I say, the longest time. The second is that channel, that ascending channel that has also been broken and retested. And again, we didn't try to trade it. We've traded it about 3 different times within that little rectangle that you see there. I think we've got TP1 2 times, and now we've got TPs 1 and 2 when we're away. Well, I hope we're away. But that structure, to me, the third structure, of course, was the rectangle, which is now broken, has been retested. And again, we are clear of that at this time. I see huge potential in this and have done for the longest time. And that's why I've been just tracking it and trying to keep into it. I see 83 as a strong potential here. That's a good trade if we can actually keep in that till there. And of course, it's got to go there in the first instance. That's 650 pips away from where we currently are. So if this is a sign that Euro Pound is finally breaking down and following the bigger picture, in other words, bounce off the top, lower high, then we have a very, very strong potential, in my humble opinion, to get down to that 83 mark. I don't know if I'd be willing to trade through that, but there's certainly more available if it really completely breaks down. A lot of that will, of course, be dependent on what Brexit outcomes we get in the next couple of months as well. The final one is also a pound bullish scenario, And unlike what I just said earlier, I do tend to attempt to play the US dollar in one pair per week. And the one that I'm trying to trade this week is pound US dollar. We tried Aussie last week and got only a break-even trade on it. As you know, the Aussie just took off unbelievably, as did the anything against the dollar pretty much on Friday, with the exception of the CAD, as both PB and PH did note earlier. This one, however, is again full of absolute potential. And of course, the pound's been suppressed for, again, the longest time, and it's been on just this downtrend since global financial crisis, hasn't been able to rally to any degree. And I don't know why I would think that this would be the time, except that on the monthly chart, this is the biggest chart pattern on the chart that I have. And I can't go too much wider, to be fair. To me, there is no bigger potential. Well, there's no bigger chart pattern than what I see, and that is that double bottom sitting there. Where that could lead is anybody's guess, of course. But if the US dollar is continuing to fall as it is, and it does fall out of the sky as it can and as it should, as I keep saying, I said, I don't know, 2 months ago, that I'd trade tiddlywinks against the US dollar. And I think that's still the case. But it will at some stage rally. Yes, I know, got all that. But if we were to imagine in our wildest dreams that we can go back to $2 even, there's 6,500 pips available to us. If you can use your imagination or your best guess, or whatever you want to call it, then I actually think that's entirely possible. And I'll be looking to get into that if I possibly can. And I'll start probably this week with, pardon me, hang on, I'll just tighten that up a little bit, with that massive breakout that we've seen. And look, I totally get the technical scenario that everyone's mentioned before. This breakout is super strong against the US dollar, no question about that, as of Friday. But I still think that's an emotive move. And most emotive moves, to me, are temporary in the first instance. In other words, what I'm expecting is a retracement of some kind. So I certainly wouldn't want to be trading that bar as it is, as strong as it is, and potentially as rewarding as it could be if you get into the right position, as I've just described. I couldn't possibly trade that here, for not only that, the reason that I'm expecting a retracement on the emotive move, but because we're at a very strong resistance level as well. And for that reason, I'll be looking for a retracement early in the week. And as soon as I get one, really, I'll be buying dips here. There's no question about that, in my humble opinion. So potentially rewarding is this, if we can get into it. It is a double bottom. Is it a neckline break? Probably not. The neckline probably comes through here, I would think. So a break and retest of that then really does set us on our way. But looking for higher lows here, and that could be as a result of the retest of this trade line here in the early days of next week. That is the weekly pivots of tomorrow, and that would probably do, but I think we're going to dip below the weekly pivot and retest this trend line before we go long, and that's the trade I'll be looking for. So that is pound US dollar, and Lord give it strength, I suppose. That's kind of where I'm at, mate. The only one I'm willing to trade against the dollar is that.
Mate, I think 1 week's a really good thing. One thing about the dollar, when it moves, it moves. And we're interested to see how it follows through. Look, mate, I think we will wind her up there. We've had a look at most. We've got a few questions coming in. I think we've heard most of them answered. We've had a few of the traders come in and go out tonight. So I think we've got PH, yourself, and Lloyd in the show. I think we will wind her up and say thank you very much to you guys and everybody else that's turned up today to help us get this show done. I really do appreciate all of your support today. To those that have come along to watch it, hope you've got some good stuff. I still feel as if Monday, Tuesday are days for a little bit of caution this week. Jackson Hole is big news, and we'll see how it does play out. I do think it's great to have someone like Julian come in and add a bit of real clarity to it as well. But great to have the fundamentals like Alexis as well, and the team has done a brilliant job today. Thank you all, guys. Cheers,
Thanks,
Helen.
Paul. Cheers.
Cheers, PH.
Yep. Have a good week, everyone.
Cheers, everyone. Take care. We will see you next week. On Monday, we will have Jeff and Ash back in on Monday. Chloe and Orlando back in as well, as I understand it. We'll have tea and hot sauce on Monday. We are looking to start Shukri's new time. I said, isn't it a new show? I said, isn't it the news either? So it may still be a day away. I think I'm still waiting for a chat with Shukri, but we should be into crypto the week after at this stage, guys. We'll be back in touch on that. Cheers, everyone. Have a great night. Thanks. See you later.
Hooroo. Take care, mate.